Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of GNN. Today is April 4th, 2024. And we have another banner night on our hands here. But before we get into the details of our brand new mobile suit, let's go for some news. Alright folks, jumping into this, we have the GBO Spring Festival 2024 in full effect here, which started on March 27th. We're still in that middle period right now in the beginning of April, and the last day being the 24th of this month. Jumping into this update, we do have a notice of GBO days, which means a full awesome list of stuff, which if you're not familiar with, that means free pulls. Starting first of Thursday and Sunday of every month, a special 4-day campaign every month for new and returning pilots. So not only just free pulls, but they have the DP and experience boosts as well as, in addition to that, the recon crates as well. But jumping into our main event here, I know you guys have been calling this out. I know some of you guys deep down inside that are big Gundam Hathaway fans or Hathaway Flash fans. It's finally here. The Messer Type-F01 is finally in GBO2. And this is a 3-star, which we'll get into shortly, because if you already see on the bottom of this part of the screen here, we have a limited supply drop notice for the lovely and cute Guy Thunderbolt guys. But it's only a little bit different because we now have access to the 350 cost versions. So if you missed out on this banner drop initially when it first came out, this is your chance to get that lovely 300 cost that you've been missing out, or complete that collection, in addition to getting the 350 versions and the respective weapons as well. So really cool on them to reissue that. And as part of that GBO Spring Festival promotion going on right now, we do have the second volume in place, more focused on mobile suit enhancements. This is a repeatable step up promotion that they have going on, or boosted supply drop, I should say. The first step being 2-star mechanic tickets, second step being 3-star mechanic tickets, and the last final step being one of the high performance custom parts as a bonus, in addition to the mobile suit drops respectively. Now, potentially at the very minimum, you might be pulling about, I want to say 9-10 pulls for this. This is a very risky pull. I do have some B-roll going to be, well, actually not really B-roll, but some screenshots showing what the parts look like. They do look very impressive. At the same time, I would say this is a very big money sink, which I do not recommend doing, just because, for one, I know a lot of you guys may choose to do this as a free-to-play game. I don't feel like it's worthwhile necessarily in the terms of this promotion here. At the same time, even though it is repeatable and you do get a chance to get that rare special part that you might have missed out on, you do get a predetermined number of recycle tickets, and I have my fair share as well. So, but if you still are determined to pull for it, do so at your own risk. Also, in addition to this lovely banner night update, we do have the 31 token pack for our next suit, being the Ramba Ral Bugu. This is from Gundam The Origin level 1. This is a, I believe, 250 cost suit, which I do have, and it's really cool. So I can't wait to take this out and show some people some more attention to the lower cost, because it doesn't have all that fancy stuff. But I digress. That's a little bit of a tangent there. Jumping into the recycle ticket counter, there are changes as follows. We now have the prototype start Giganet level 3 available, the Hyaku Shiki Kai level 3, as well as the Girazulu EH, I forgot her name, but the pilot from Gundam NT, that her raid unit is in there, as well as the flight unit Goof from Thunderbolt as well. Bandit Flower, to be more exact, that's also now available in the recycle ticket counter. So if you don't have any of those suits, I can definitely tell you that those are all pretty fun and definitely pretty solid as well. There are also adding the Start Jigen Hyper Bazooka level 3. This is, I believe, mostly to be in tandem with the prototype Start Jigen, so really neat to have as a alternative to the standard Jigen rifle, which is kind of hit and miss for some folks there. There are no additional changes to the DP exchange, but they are doing some adjustments to the situational battle EX-Man, or however you want to pronounce it, the Nightseeker V. They're boosting the specs on that. For Team A, the Nightseeker 2s are now boosting the specs on both the stripped beam rifle version and the 2-barrel beam gun. The standard Nightseekers, which are basically the support units in that capacity, are now getting melee combo controller level 1 in addition to their specs being increased. So that'll be interesting to see, because I've always thought the Nightseeker in the general should have had a update to the melee combo controller, which I wouldn't be surprised if it comes to a update at some point. Never know. And in addition to that, we do have some changes to the weekly weekend battle schedule, in addition to our reveal of the newest clan match suit, the ground Gundam type with the GM head. This is a 350 2-star raid. So it retains the ground Gundam performance with the GM ground head, so it's really cool. I want the suit, but because it's the latest one to come out, well, I do see myself hitting the top 3 anytime soon, so it might be a month or so later down the road, but you know, just like Pokemon, gotta catch them all, right? On to our main event. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the suit here. The Messer is as I mentioned before, a 3-star. It is a general, which is pretty surprising. It's coming in as a 650 general. So this is a mass production unit that was secretly developed and provided by Anaheim Electronics, which is later operated by the anti-Federation group Mafty in the UC-100s. According to this unit, I'm reading this verbatim by the way, was designed for use in guerrilla warfare, and its back is equipped with a tail stabilizer, which deploys during descent from high altitudes, enabling gliding and posture control while mid-air. Optional equipment provides remarkable combat versatility as a mine layer unit, E-packs for the unit's primary weapon, and the long beam rifle. This is in line with standard protocol used by Federation forces and designed with military logistics in mind. It is as mentioned, ground and space here, and it's actually pretty cool. Now, they do say, like with the ground usage, you're able to do some aerial attacks. It's able to slow down its glide and kind of almost hover in a way, but I believe, based on this, basically during ground maps, when falling from a certain altitude, when the stabilizer on the back deploys and falling effect will be activated, raises mobility while deployed, manipulating easier mid-air actions during high-speed movement, increased attack power and mobility at high-speed movement. Thruster consumption will be reduced at the start of high-speed movement and in the middle of high-speed movement. Main ranged weapon can be used while moving at high-speed movement. So this is going to be pretty crazy. Reduced damage reaction when hit by range damage, and staggering due to damage accumulation. So it's almost like, maybe in a way, shock dampeners, because it has some other stuff, which we'll get into shortly. They do say that this skill is not activated while falling in a dive. So I believe when you force yourself to drop altitude immediately, which other suits you can do that with as a standard thing, you do not get that added additional mobility. So when you're cutting your altitude up immediately, I would say, basically they're explaining you have to be engaging high-speed movement to get those buffs, which is, well, all I can say is Anksha, eat your heart out. This is going to do aerial combat way better, assuming people use this gimmick quite a bit. Now, it does have a sub-weapon called the Mine Layer Unit, which we'll get into shortly as well. Launches a slow floating mine, very similar to the Rickdom Stutzer and some other units that have a similar mechanic. Explodes after a certain amount of time, or if they come in contact with the enemy. but in the midair, it becomes a basal geese, becomes a B-52. It basically becomes a bomb. It should have been just a plane, honestly. Basically, that's what it does. So, because the mines actually drop faster than just hovering and just chilling. Yeah, it becomes a bomber. So, as you can see there, which is pretty crazy. I'm still trying to get over it because it's just like, wow, we now have a glorified mobile suit bomber. Anyways, if you're doing 10 pulls on this lovely suit, it does give you a chance to, for those of you guys that might have missed it when the Hathaway movie first came out, they were doing this as kind of a special login deal. Now you can get the chance of getting Mafty's normal suit and his helmet as a chance to complete the whole ensemble there, which is pretty cool. It kind of sucks that they're reissuing it, but at the same time, if you missed out, well, it's your chance. I believe that's pretty much it in that regard. So let's get into the nitty gritty. That is that lovely. Wait, whoa, hold on. I just read that there's 650 cap pull, but yeah. Anyways, on to the nitty gritty for the new suit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with our 650 Messer. Now, of course, mine has been tuned and obviously recolored in my own personal effects, but let's get into the details because looking at this straight off the bat, we have about 28, 29 for beam and ballistic, 21 in the melee resistance, which isn't bad. It does give you something to kind of work with. It would be 34, 31 in the damage output category, which is actually, I would still, even though there's like a slight difference, I would say it's still pretty balanced in that regard. 23k HP. Jumping down to the movement side of things, 132.15 pretty much puts it on par with the Gyaradoga that's based off of, but we'll say it's a little slower compared to some of the other suits at 650 cost. Now, what kind of makes up for the fact is you do get 80 thrust right off the bat, which is a lot compared to some of the other stuff that comes with its stock. And then turning speed of 72 is actually pretty decent. It's not bad. It definitely is a lot better than some, for sure. But jumping into the primary, we have a long-range beam rifle, 2550 as a base power. It is ammo base with 8 shots, 4.5 seconds cooldown time between those shots, and an 18-second reload time. But the thing that catches my eye is the fact that it's 450 meters. So most of the beam rifles that we're dealing with typically have 300 to 400. It's kind of the sweet spot. This one has a little more to edge it, which makes it, you know, it actually pretty much not just makes it, but it makes it scream a midline suit that has pretty good, decent range to kind of poke around and be annoying. Going into the primary melee, we do have its unique beam saber, which you cannot change out. It is a base of 2750, just kind of check things out there. 2-second cooldown time. Now, most other suits have a 2.5 second cooldown time. This is a flat 2 seconds. So I could see this being very disruptive and being, yeah, significantly pain in the ass. So definitely got to watch out in that category there. It has a set of Vulcans, base power 95, 30 rounds, 175 effective meters with a 13-second reload time. It's not terrible, but it is a lot slower. So just kind of bear that in mind when using this. We do have more details on that mine layer unit portion of the suit that we kind of mentioned earlier. Base power of 1500, 20 shots, range of 10 meters, 3 seconds, cooldown time between salvos, and a 20-second reload time. This thing's gonna slap pretty hard. I'm not sure exactly how you would utilize this in a sort of follow-up portion, just because that would require you to downswing somebody, maybe try to base bomb them somehow. I figuratively say base bomb them, like you would be flying over them with like a plane, but that requires some really talented flying. But I can see that being pain in the ass already. On top of that, we have a smoke grenade function for this. So yeah, this thing is gonna have some pseudo stealth. Yeah, this is gonna be a pain in the ass already, I can tell. It's gonna be like B-52 and Monster Hunter. Basically Monster Hunter, period. That's literally all I'm seeing with this. I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna paint it like that. Jumping into the phalanx, it basically has shield gatlings, kind of like reminiscent of our GM Guard custom and dual hand. Except I think these hit a little bit harder. 80 rounds per set of reloads, 275 meters of effective range, which is pretty absurd already in an 18-second reload time. Yeah, this thing's pretty dumb. And then to round it out, it has a 7k HP shield, and it's pretty large too. God, this is gonna be nuts. Man, I don't know. This is looking pretty good already. All right, jumping into the shopping list of skills that it has, you might see some familiar things on here. Typical shock absorber. This has actually quick boost 4, so this thing is meant to change altitude really easily. One roll, flight control 4, so it's got a lot of, from what I'm seeing right now, a lot of thruster mitigation as far as thruster use, thruster consumption. There's that V-tail stabilizer that we were talking about earlier. Basically, this makes you descend slower, so it's not like you're dropping to the ground, but it makes you kind of hover almost in a way, the way it's written, and also lowers your thruster drain a bit. Anti-blast stabilizer, so this is meant to kind of get in there as well. Balancers, obviously very unheard of if it didn't have it. It has an aerial melee system, very much like the Angsha and some of the other suits that are out there. So yeah, like I said, seeing this is gonna be pretty annoying to see this in the air, because it's gonna be doing a lot of the same stuff. I'm back at level 2, so this is gonna turn a lot better in space. MA1, one combo controller there. Force Injector 2 comes with a shield tackle as well. The special right shoulder, the Zaku looking thing, it's got a special buffer for 15%. Also has waist cushioning, which also reduces damage to 30%. So especially if you're hitting center mass, this thing's going to be nasty, as well as the legs. Legs is at 25%. So yeah, all I can say is this thing's going to be pretty nasty. I want to have fun with this, but it probably won't be till the weekend before I get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our episode of the latest banner to drop, the Messer F01 from Gundam Hathaway. I believe it's pretty cool, but I want to know what you guys think. Is it as awesome as it looks? Is it a supreme terror as it suggests? Is it something that's worth pulling for? I don't know. I'm very curious what you guys think and what your opinions are on everything that we've went over here so far with this new update. But I digress. We might have to save that for another time. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps out the channel immensely. And until next time, guys, I will see you all later. Take care.